Glacier, you cold.
What's going on, everybody? It is the trade deadline special, and it's just me right now. But I'm gonna have some people coming on soon, so you guys, we're gonna jump right into it. It was crazy. I think we all thought that there was gonna be like a lot more different, trade deadline like madness and people, scrambling to make trades and get better and doing all this. But I don't really think it was gonna be that. Once I kind of saw how the chips was gonna fall, once I saw the way that they went after Hill for the Sixers, it was just crazy for me. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was sitting there with my phone. I ended up taking a nap because nothing was really happening. But I just kind of waited, and I kind of was hoping and praying they would get Lowry. And I know there could be a lot of people kind of hoping and praying they got Lowry, but it just didn't go down like that. And I'm upset about it, and I'll get into it in a little bit. Kind of about like why I'm like so upset about the Lowry whole situation. But it's just crazy to even think that we had a chance to get Lowry and we didn't make it happen. And we keep saying, everybody keeps saying, oh, well, we need these pieces to be, competitive and to make sure we take on the Brooklyn Nets. And that's fine. I'm all good for that. But it's just different. I think it's just a different concept and a different way of thinking when you really look at like what all happened. So we'll start with what everybody wants to talk about on my side of the town is the George Hill trade. So the George Hill trade would end up being like a 3-team trade. You end up getting George Hill to the Sixers for Austin Rivers to OKC along with Tony Bradley and some more trades. I just couldn't fit it all the different situations that happened in there for that little bit of thing. But as you can see on the shared screen, we have kind of like everything that really happened, all the major moves. And with this George Hill major move, it really does look like, once I saw it, I was like, okay, we're not going to get Lowry now. Now, I would love to be in the room when they make these decisions and they go out here and go get these guys, because it lets me know that A, one or two things have happened. A, something fell through, or B, like they were wanting way too much money or way too many assets for Lowry. And it wasn't even a guarantee that Lowry was going to stay for an additional year after his contract was up this year. So we would really be giving up a whole lot. I didn't really want to give up Thibault and all those guys. Just because like they're really good defensive players and they have a lot of upside. And, I think that's kind of where Philly was at with it as well. And that's maybe why they went and got a George Hill. But if anybody can tell me why George Hill seems so appealing, he's played on the Bucks team that didn't go anywhere and didn't do anything. So if anybody can tell me why, he looks so appealing now, it would be great. Next, the Victor Oladipo to Miami for Avery Bradley and Kelly Olynyk. I don't dislike Victor Oladipo. So let me start by saying that I don't dislike him. I just think that Victor Oladipo isn't the guy, that's going to make a big difference in Miami. Miami's got some pieces here and there, but I don't think he's got enough to where it's going to make that big of a difference. And that's just my thought process behind it. I'm not really sure if anybody has any type of like output or anything to add to that. Let me know in the comments as well. I'm not really sure. Like Victor Oladipo just really doesn't do it for me. I mean, they got Butler, they got some guys, but he just don't do it. And if anybody can tell me what it is that he does do that could really make them a contender. I mean, I guess they kept Tyler Hero and all them, but I'm not really all that impressed with Tyler Hero either. And I don't think that that's going to be enough to, either beat the Sixers or the Nets in the playoffs. It's just not enough. Let's see. We got, this is a good one. Rajon Rondo to the Clippers for Lou Will. Now, this is interesting. The whole Lou Will situation is, it's crazy. And I'm looking at this one from Mark, man. Mark, like, yeah, I'm not afraid of Miami at all either. Like, I wasn't afraid of them before, but I'm definitely not afraid of them now. Just knowing the simple fact they only went out and got Oladipo. They weren't really all that great to begin with. And I know people are gonna say, "Oh, you hating on Miami." I'm not hating on Miami. It's not the bubble, and this ain't gonna be the same result as it was last year. This Sixers team is not the same. That Brooklyn team is definitely not the same. And if anything, I think the Bucks may have made. I guess the Bucks made the best trade that they could have been with the PJ Tucker trade. And I think they made the most of the trade from what they got. I mean, he's not also a head turner either. Is he a role player for sure? I just don't believe that this will be enough to be either one of the top three teams in the East, and definitely not to challenge in the West. Miami just doesn't do it for me. It's not a sexy enough move to make me like kind of bat an eye at. The Rajon Rondo to LA Clippers for Lou Will, that trade is a little bit more intriguing because if you look at it, the Clippers really didn't have a commanding point guard because Lou Will is more of a scorer. So I think with the addition of Rondo, with him being now a veteran and all this and all that, like I think that's going to make it's going to have a big impact on the Clippers. I don't think it puts them over the hump either, but the Lakers aren't really the Lakers right now. I think because all the injuries have set in, I think, we're not really sure if he's going to come back, if he's going to come back tender, if he's going to come back at all. I haven't heard very much about his status either. So that's kind of giving me some pause on the Lakers, but the Lakers may not be the top guys like we thought in the West. So I think this might be a big move. It might end up paying off because Rondo is a veteran. The Clippers they trade him they get rid of Lou Will. So Lou Will is more of a scorer. So somebody put in there, oh yeah, okay. So Lou Will is a scorer. So that could be kind of a problem going forward because they give up that scoring with Lou Will. But Rajon Rondo brings more because he plays defense. He's a floor general, all that good stuff. So kind of Rajon Rondo puts me kind of in the same mindset with a Chris Paul. He's an automatic upgrade to anybody's team with Rajon Rondo, and he's been around. He's a vet. Let's see what else we got. Okay, Aaron Gordon. Man, that's a big one. Aaron Gordon and Gary Clark to Denver. That one's going to end up being big in the long run, and you'll see why in a minute. So they not only got Aaron Gordon, they end up getting JaVale McGee too. So that's going to be a big to do with Jokic and all those guys. So Jokic now has a backup, definitely a serviceable backup if he ever gets in foul trouble, and to kind of help him through the playoffs and avoid injury and stuff like that. He has somebody that can definitely help out. And then Aaron Gordon, he's definitely serviceable. I think he's one of the better players on a bad team. So, I think I guess we can kind of watch that, see how that actually plays out. I think it will play out pretty well. And that was a cabinet that just fell. I'm not even sure why it fell. But yeah, so that might end up being a serviceable situation with the Aaron Gordon pickup. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, so for all those Celtics fans, I had a bunch of Celtics fans in my Twitter kind of just talking all this noise about how good they're going to be and all this and all that. They went out in the trade deadline, all the mass confusion that was supposed to be the trade deadline, and they got Evan Fournier, I think how you say his name, and they gave up 2 second-round picks for him, and I don't think the dude is that good. So if anybody can tell me what he brings to the table, because I haven't seen anything. I looked at some stuff on him earlier. I just don't think he's enough to put him over he can't. I don't think he can do anything definitely against the Sixers. He doesn't help you because the problem against the Sixers is you need a post presence that can stop Embiid, and they don't have one. So that doesn't help you that way. I don't really see the mindset that went behind going to get Evan Fournier, however you say his name. I can't see the thought process behind going to get him. So if you're a Boston fan, I know there's some Boston fans out there. If you're a Boston fan, can you guys tell me why that is such an appealing pickup for you guys? Because I don't see it. And I think if you're a Celtics fan, you should be kind of, you should curb your enthusiasm a little bit because that was not a good pickup because I just don't see it. Another notable, not really notable as far as players wise, but notable in the sense of I didn't think anybody was going to move from JJ Redick, but JJ Redick goes to Dallas. like I said, I don't think that helps or hurts either one of the teams. I just think it's like a lateral movement. I mean, as far as money wise, maybe you save some money on him. But JJ Redick isn't really who JJ Redick was. He's been very, very lackluster for the entire year. And that's kind of why trades talks went away from him, even though he is a shooter. That's about it for him. But let's see. I think that's it for all my notable trade talks. Yeah, I think that's it. For all the notable trade talks. So we got to look out for something, because now that the trade deadline is over, the only thing that can really happen now are the buyouts. And to me, honestly, the buyouts are a little bit more, what's the word? They're a little bit more intriguing, because the buyouts are a little different. You're not really, once they buy out the contract, you're not really spending as much on them as you would with a trade, because you're not really leveraging your future for the buyout. So I think that the buyouts will look a little better, because at one point, from what everybody was saying as far as the trade deadline goes, Lowry was actually talking to the Lakers as well. And I really didn't see how Lowry would help the Lakers either, because they have LeBron. Let's see. Let's see who we got. We got Andre checking in real quick. Andre says, neither am I, Mark. I don't see a legitimate threat in the East in the 7-game. Yeah, in the 7-game series. I don't see one either. In the 7-game series, I don't see anybody really messing with the Sixers or the Nets. I think we're really all we're gearing up for is to play the Nets. And with the West looking the way it looks right now, the West is actually, I don't know, they looked really good. We talked about the Suns. We've been talking about, the Lakers when they had their guys, everybody healthy. And now I'm kind of looking at the West like, maybe I'm not so afraid to go play in the West. Maybe, and normally you should say, okay, well, that's our measuring stick is the West games. But right now we're on our West tour, and all those guys are either injured or whatever, or not playing and all that stuff. So am I really worried about the Lakers right now? I'm not really worried about the Lakers right at this moment, because I'm not really sure what's happening with them. And nobody's been able to give us a straight answer about when everybody's coming back. So, I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Just like the Nets. The Nets haven't given a clear indication of when KD's coming back. They haven't set a timetable. I think the last thing I saw was like 6 to 8 weeks, but that was like 6 to 8 weeks ago. So I'm not really sure when KD's coming back, or if they're just kind of blowing smoke up us so nobody gets panicked that he's not coming back, and they're not worried about KD coming back. I think they have a really serviceable team because they have Kyrie and Harden. But other than that, I think that's kind of the meat of that team is, kind of waiting on KD. Like, everybody's kind of just waiting to see how that's going to pan out. But let's just somebody humor me for a minute, because this is what I've kind of been thinking about. What happens if KD doesn't come back, or KD doesn't come back right? Are the Nets still like a formidable opponent with just the two of those guys, with Kyrie and Harden? Or do they have to have KD to make a push? They went out and got PJ Tucker. So do they need KD to make a push for, the championship? Guys, tell me what you know in the comments. Let me know what you think. Is Boston out of it with the moves that they've made? Is Boston out? You know what I'm saying? Andre says the crazy part is the Nets will need their big three to beat the Sixers in a 7-game series. They will. And I know we've been all saying on the last couple half-court Heat shows, all the shows on Heat Reshow Network, we've all been saying that we've been trying to get better to keep up with the Nets. But what's crazy is the Nets made the move to get Blake Griffin, but that move didn't make sense either. In the bigger scheme of things, that didn't make sense. Like, the Blake Griffin move doesn't make sense for the Nets, because he doesn't bring anything that they need. They need a legitimate big, the big that can actually check and beat. They don't have a big. Like, I guess somebody said something about I guess they have a big that old big that used to be a good big, but he's not going to be able to check and beat in the playoffs. No, they need all three to beat the Sixers, and I agree. I think they're going to need all their firepower to beat the Sixers in a 7-game series, especially what the Sixers have showed us in the last couple of weeks, playing with basically None of their big name guys. They're still finding a way to win. And I know everybody kept saying we need to make this big move, get this big gesture, grab this great player. But really, the bench is getting better. And this is the first time I've seen real progression from any team this season with the bench. The bench, I hated losing the other bigs because you don't know how the playoffs are going to play out with Embiid, and hopefully he stays healthy. But you lose a big today in order to get George Hill. I'm just not really sure. I'm just hoping that it pans out. Let's just say that. Like, I'm just hoping that it pans out. And like I said, I'm not really as worried or anything about the West as I was before the season started, because now it has how the cookie has crumbled so far. But yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on Boston? Like, is Boston just kind of a wash now because they didn't make any moves, they didn't get any better? They've been on this losing streak they've been on for quite some time now. I haven't really heard from like our girl Jenna, ICU nurse. We haven't heard from her in a minute. That's her. Her team is the Boston Celtics. We haven't heard from these people, and they've kind of been ghosts lately. So, what are you guys' thoughts about Boston? Are we just kind of just throwing them out the pasture and it's going to let them do their thing? Or are we saying that Boston might legitimately be a contender coming out of nowhere? And with that being said, is anybody worried about Miami out of the East or Milwaukee? Because Milwaukee went and got PJ Tucker. I'm sorry, I messed that up earlier. Milwaukee went out and got PJ Tucker. So are we worried about any of those moves that have been made? I mean, I'm not really worried so far. I think this trade deadline was very unproductive, to be honest with you. I don't think anybody got really that much better or that much worse. I think it was very uneventful, to be honest. But the big one is, like I said before, the big thing is going to be, because I got some more comments coming in on my Facebook. Hold on a second. I can't pop that one up. Okay, so the question for everybody was from the poll I got going was, if KD doesn't come back right and the Nets don't come out of the East, did they just have a non-successful season because they went out and got Harden, they went out and got Kyrie, they did all these things, and if they don't win, is it just a bust and they need to just get rid of the team? And does it prove the point that Steve Nash wasn't ready to be a coach in the NBA? That's a loaded question. That's a loaded question because there's so many different angles to look at it from the Nets perspective. One being the fact that, there is a situation where they have a brand new coach who hasn't coached in the NBA yet. The Steve Nash acquisition, picking up Steve Nash as the coach, skipped him a bunch of steps. He didn't get to take those steps in becoming a assistant coach or anything like that. So he really kind of skipped some steps. And I think because of that, he skipped those steps. I think it's going to end up not really working out in their favor. And that's just my personal opinion. And really, in all honesty, without KD, that team looks completely different. So that is another part of that. Somebody said if they go get Andre Drummond, are they more formidable? Or we're worried a little bit more about the Nets? And I guess, I've been saying this since day one. I think Andre Drummond is good. I really do. I think he's good. Do I think he's a Embiid stopper? No, I don't. I think with the extra scoring, it will help, but I'm not really seeing him stopping Embiid. And that's the thing that they need. They need somebody to stop Embiid or to slow Embiid down. And that's the really only way to beat the Sixers when they're kicking and now all the bench guys are coming in. They're all learning their roles. They're getting more confident. They're gaining their confidence. Tobias is playing really out of his mind for the most part. Really, yeah, I'm not really seeing a situation where you get into a 7-game series without KD just adding Andre Drummond and you beat the Sixers. I just don't see it happening. I don't care what Harden and Kyrie do. I just don't see it happening. Another comment here says, the comment is about Kyrie Irving. Do you think Kyrie Irving taking a break is a part of the scheme to take everybody's mind off the Nets? No, I don't think it's part of a scheme. I think that Kyrie is a head case. So I think that at the end of the day, I don't know if it's for his own personal, he took a mental day or whatever, but I just don't assume that this break is for anything other than him. He just celebrated a birthday, if anybody didn't know. So his birthday was like the last couple of days. and somebody just put a post about it, and maybe that's why he took a break. And I don't know why. We won't ever understand Kyrie until the end of time and he writes a tell-all book or something. We're not going to understand him. And I think sometimes Kyrie can be a bit of a headache. Man, we got our guy coming on, man. Al, I'm gonna bring you on, man. There he goes, man. The myth, the legend.
What's up?
Man, I'm just on here kicking it, trying to see what's up.
What's going on, NBA family?
So we just been talking about everything. I got some questions that come in. I'm gonna ask you this because I've been thinking about this for a while. But I wanted to ask you this. You know how Kyrie took the break now. So Kyrie's on a sabbatical of some sort. He just had his birthday. He's feeling himself. You know, he's on a break. Are we thinking that
family issues?
Come on, bro.
That's the quote he got out there. Family something he put out there. Okay.
So what are your thoughts about his family time? Like, are you worried about it? Are you thinking it's like all BS or what?
I'm gonna take him for his word and say it. He has some personal things going on that he needed to take care of. Man, I can't. I mean, it's the second. You know what? We never really did find out what the first one was.
Nope.
And that was like 2 weeks.
Low
so
management.
Now,
Low management.
So now the second one I don't know. I mean, I'm just taking for where everybody had, everybody has things going on in their life. So maybe he has something going on that he doesn't want to, tell everybody about. Somebody's sick or something's going on in the family that he just doesn't want to tell everybody. He doesn't think it's everybody's business to know. Maybe Brooklyn does know what exactly the reason is, and they're not telling everybody. So it is what it is.
So I'm popping this question up from Al. Al said they need everybody to beat the Sixers. The Brooklyn Nets, they need all the guys to beat the Sixers.
100%. I agree with that.
Yeah, I've been saying that.
I agree with Dre. 100%. They're not going. If they think that they can beat us with Harden and Kyrie, then to stop dreaming. Wake up from that dream, because that ain't happening. Huh?
Halftime, Kyrie. Kyrie's like one of the people that you pay. Like he's a part-time worker. Like he comes in, he doesn't work his whole 40 hours. He works just enough that you can't pay him for full time. He works just enough. Like was it like 20 something hours? Like if you don't work over
and a good worker, so you can't fire him. But you he gets on your nerves enough to like, dude, if he would just do what I want him to do, he wouldn't get on my nerves. But I can't fire him. He's that good, that type of guy.
Yeah, never do what he's supposed to do all the way. Like, but he's so good when he does do it. It's like, okay, well, maybe we should just wait before we fire him. Like,
or find somebody else that can replace him before we think about it.
Hey, so were you impressed with any of the trades? Like, did anything impress you? Were you looking at like, okay, this is a big move for somebody?
Denver getting Gordon, they impressed me. I was like, wow, that's a good move right there. But let me talk about some ridiculous moves first. What in the hell is Orlando doing, dude? I mean, they just offloaded the whole team for I don't know what they're doing. It's not like Vucevic is like 35 or something. What is it? I don't understand. Why reload? How about retool? Don't reload. I mean, they totally got nobody left now. Nobody. I got the two players. I think you got Isaac and what's the name that we traded them? The kid that tore his ACL that we had. And that's it. Yeah, and folks. And that's it. That's all they got left. Oh, and a couple people that they got in trades, but they probably gonna what's the name those and get them out of there. They don't want what they want veterans for now when they got all young kids. Porter probably she got traded there. They're probably gonna buy him out too. Porter got traded there from the Chicago part of it, and then they traded Fournier to Boston. and they didn't did anything but draft picks and that. I don't know what they're doing. And then let's talk about this moron in Houston. What is he doing? What is he doing? First of all, he should have got damn, I'm losing his name right off the top of my head. The Brooklyn kid that went to Indiana. That had the problem. Levert. They should have got him first. First of all, why you get him all over Depot? You let him go to. You should have kept him. He's younger and he had a bigger upside. Why do you do that from the beginning? I have no idea. All right, so then you do that, and now you give all the Depot to Miami for a bag of peanuts. What are they doing in Houston? I know they got a nice haul in picks from Brooklyn. I get that. All right, I give you that. But what else? Give me a young player that they can build off the future with. Nothing. What are they doing? I tweeted today he should be fired after that trade today. Fired.
You're watching tanking, and it's just what it is. It's people are just tanking, and it's doing something really weird. We've never seen this before. Never seen people actively tank in the middle of a season. Now, honestly, if you're at the bottom of the bottom, okay, go ahead. Silas is having a rough year, and it's not his fault. It's not his fault that this is happening. He just kind of walked into a dumpster fire. So I'm not really blaming him, but I'm saying, like, at the end of the day, like, this ain't a good look for nobody. And just like I was telling somebody about, like, I was messing with Jenna if she was on here. The Celtics.
Ho! That's breaking news. Jenna was on earlier?
No, she wasn't on. She's not been around lately.
Oh, she's still MIA.
Yeah, I think she scared her off, and I hate that because I really wanted to see losing streak.
Yeah, well, I mean, and Boston game is coming soon.
It's nothing. I don't even think.
Well, that's actually I don't even care about the Boston game anymore. It's not even competition.
They've been losing, getting beat up by everybody, and I was, what's crazy is I did all this research today. I'm like, okay, when the Lowry trade drops, I'm gonna have all this information. So I got all these Lowry stats and all these Lowry points, and he ain't even get traded. He's still on the team. He hanging out with Drake. Drake gonna fly down to Florida. They gonna hang out tonight. So,
well, let me give my 2 cents on that.
Go ahead.
I had no interest in doing it if they wanted Thibault. I had no interest in that. You need Thibault to win a chip. So if you're going to give up the kid, I'm good with that. And you had to give up Danny and Scott for cap reasons and picks. Who cares about picks? We try to win a chip. I don't care about picks. So I'm good with that. But I'm not giving up Thibault. You need Thibault to go up against Brooklyn. So if I like more he said, I like what he said. I didn't hear the press conference. I heard he was on talking, but I didn't hear what he said. But I'm feeling the mentality of him, and I didn't even hear what he said. And I'm not giving up that to get 35-year-old Lowry. I'm not doing it. I just have no interest in that. So and Hill. I've been saying that for a while. We talked about that on Half Court Heat probably about 3 weeks ago about that I seen it in Doc's eyes that we needed a veteran point guard that can run the offense when Ben is off the court. And maybe you could put Ben and him on the court at the same time since Hill can shoot. So I like that pickup. I'm good with that. And we didn't give up anything. We gave up nothing to get him. So I'm good with that. I still would have liked them to get a shooter. They didn't get my boy, which I wanted out of Detroit, but it is what it is. I think if they tried to do some things and it just didn't. I think they weren't going to overpay. And there's nothing wrong with that. And he said, "Well, look, I stay pat then. If I'm not going to just give up the house just to give up the house, just to make a little deal that." And people are like, "Oh, well, why you didn't just go for it?" Well, you can't go for it and give up Thibault. Thibault was untouchable to me right now. You don't know what this kid could turn into. You have no idea. He could be Scottie Pippen for all we know, and that's not like overblown because Scottie Pippen wasn't a 35-point scorer. He was just a great defensive player that got better and better and better. So you don't know what this kid can turn into. You could be Kawhi Leonard for all you know. Kawhi Leonard didn't turn out that. How long did it turn Kawhi Leonard to turn into Kawhi Leonard?
I would say more years.
Yes, you don't know what he can be. That's the upside of what Thibault could be. So I'm not getting rid of Thibault. Let's go. That's what we got to do. As far as the buyouts, I didn't think JJ was ever coming back. I don't think what's the name from Detroit is coming here. I think he's going to the Lakers or Brooklyn. Trying to think who else is a buyout candidate. Oh, what's the name from San Antonio? I don't think Aldridge. I don't think he's coming here either. Everybody and their grandma talking about he's going to Miami. So I don't know. I don't know what's left out there, but let's go to war. What we got to do, what we got, and there's no. After today, I don't want to hear nobody else complaining about what we didn't do. Let's go. I'm not. Oh, well, I didn't see. See, that's why I don't want to hear none of that. Let's go. Now, whatever we do, whatever we did, we got Hill. Hill won't play tonight because the trade just happened. It's coming on. Probably play next game or maybe the game after that. And let's go. That's it.
So I recall specifically when I told you guys,
I knew you were gonna bring that up.
We should just go with how we're currently constructed. And everybody laughed at me, told me that we was pieces and pieces away, pieces and pieces away from actually, being where we're supposed to be at. And then now we didn't went on this road trip. We didn't won some tight games, some games where you really couldn't breathe. You probably couldn't breathe until the very, very last minute. Even that Golden State game, I stayed up and watched it. And I was like, we were up by 20-something. I was like, I'm going to go to bed. Went to the bathroom. Grabbed me a snack real quick, my midnight snack I always have. And then I came back and it was a tight game. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Like,
they lost their focus. They lost their focus. There was no reason for them to give up 40 points to Golden State without Steph Curry in the third quarter. So it was just defense. And then you seen in the fourth quarter, we gave up, I think, at the end, I was like 14 points in the fourth quarter. So that's what it was. We had to turn the defense up, and that's what we did, and we won again.
But check this out. And I wanted to say this. You know how we keep saying, we've been saying in the last couple of weeks that this team before would lose those games. And because they would lose those games in the past, it not only makes us hopeful, but it also gives us kind of like a cockiness, like, okay, well, we had the same amount of pieces and different things going on a couple of years ago, but we didn't have the coaching to get us there or to refocus the guys in the middle of the game. Like Doc Rivers has this weird thing about him where he can, I don't know what he does because I'm not in the huddle, but he does something to where he can refocus the guys in the middle of the game. And a lot of coaches don't do that. They don't handle runs well. They can't stop the bleeding. Doc Rivers has a real way to like settle Ben, Joel, and really Tobias the most of all. Because Tobias can really be shooting terribly from the field, and he can, go through a process where he can just bring him out of that funk. It's actually really crazy. We got Scotty coming on too now.
Okay. I see. Scotty, what's good with you?
Not much, man. Just getting through the day. Today was stressful, right?
I think part of it is.
Don't get me wrong. I'm content.
Yeah, that's why I just said that. I was about to say that I think part of it is when he knows Tobias is off that particular game, he'll tell him to get in the post. And then I'm trying to see how many times I've been watching. I don't know how many games we played already, but when he goes in the post, nobody's stopping him that's trying to defend him. He's just backing him down to shoot right over top of him, and his money. His money. There's nothing anybody can do that's going to defend him. I seen him back down the greatest defensive player of all time the other night.
No, Draymond?
Self-proclaimed greatest defensive player. Backed him right on down and shot right over top of him. So there's nothing anybody can do when Tobias gets his mind that he's going to post you up, back you down and shoot over top. You're going to foul him or he's going to score. And that's what I think they do when they need a bucket or he's off that particular game or whatever they want to run a quick play out of a timeout. That's what they do. And that's the Doc thing. It's just the difference between Doc and Brown is like crazy.
Yeah. To me, like just, and this is just, speculation. Like the difference to me between Doc and Brett Brown is like, I feel like Brett Brown comes to the huddle and is like, guys, what do you want to do here? Where Doc Rivers comes to the huddle with a plan, he's going to tell you what to do here. So like, I thought Brett Brown was just a little too friendly with those guys to a point where it hurt him. But yeah, I'm with you. Tobias, his mindset, you can see it. He's not settling for jump shots. He's not settling for long twos. That you can see it. It's the confidence. Him. After that Knicks game where he takes over the end of the game and he's yelling out, "I'm a mother effing all-star." What do you ever expect that from Tobias, right?
Right.
That's what this team needs. They need that confidence and that vocal leader because Joel's got it, but Ben he's more of a timid. I don't want to call him shy, but he's kind of quiet.
He comes out every once in a while.
Comes out, he'll give you a flex, whatever it is, but you need that other leader on the squad.
And I see I lost my thought. I was just about to say something. I was talking about Tobias. What the heck was I getting ready to say? Lost my thought that quick. But Tobias just is different in every aspect. I can't explain how a coach has changed every aspect of his game. Aggressiveness, rebounding, taking more command, taking more responsibility. Everything, leadership, everything just by one. I mean, how many months have we had Doc Rivers on the team and he's changed everything about Tobias? Oh, that's what I was going to say. He had a horrible shooting night the other night. Not the Golden State game. I think, wasn't it the Knicks game on the road? And he still had over 20. That's what I need. With those games, when he usually would have horrible shooting nights, he would have maybe 8, 11, something like that. And you'd be like, damn, he shot and he shot horrible and he didn't rebound and he didn't assist. He didn't do anything. He didn't play any defense. He didn't do anything. God, Tobias played defense. He had over 20 points and had a horrible shooting night. I mean, that's like one of the games earlier this year, and B had like 26 points and shot horrible from the field, and everybody was like, "When B had a horrible game, dude, he still had 26." So it's a big difference, man. Big difference.
I honestly think it's what we expect now. I think that's what happened. Before, if B had a bad game and that was a 27, we expected that to be like, oh, it's a good game still. But as we've gotten better, we've made the moves. Like we have also not curbed our enthusiasm. We've lifted our enthusiasm to the point where we're like, you know what? We expect this out of Joel Embiid. We expect this, and we should have expected this out of Joel Embiid.
Absolutely.
For so many years, I said, you know what? I trash dude. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. I trash Joel Embiid. Like I had to go on multiple different social platforms and apologize for the stuff I said about him because he was out of shape. This Joel Embiid looked like he came in on a mission. Like his body was in shape. He looked determined. He played determined. He's added some tricks to his bag, and he's become such a monster. It's almost kind of weird. It's almost like now looking at him like, dang, is that Joel Embiid?
Yeah.
Speaking of Tobias, a lot of people owe him an apology.
Yeah.
A lot of people won't admit it, but they trashed him. I remember the first game of the season, this season, they trashed him because he had a horrible game. He ain't had a horrible game. He probably had maybe 2 horrible games a whole season. This whole season he had 2, and one of them was the first game of the season. I mean, they trashed him on Twitter. I mean, every other post was, I can't believe, here we go again. And now he's Mr. Consistency. And what are you going to say now? I want those people to come out the woodwork and say, I'm sorry, I was one of those guys that trashed him, and give him his pride.
They won't, though. They won't.
No, of course they won't.
But Scotty, real quick, I'm going to ask you this because you weren't here for the first part. What trade move were you the most impressed with today?
So by impressed, what do you mean? Like best value or best addition?
Best value. It pushing. I mean, it wasn't no blockbuster stuff happening. So
Nah.
So what? I guess what was the best trade? I guess what was the best trade for value and all that?
So value, I think for me, the Evan Fournier and the Victor Oladipo. They got Victor Oladipo for dirt cheap. But what I mean by value is that I think those are good players. I think Oladipo, he's not a great player anymore. I think injuries have kind of brought him downhill. But where does he fit on that Heat team? Like, I don't think he makes them better. Like, who are you taking off the court to put Oladipo on the court? You're taking Tyler Hero off? You taking Duncan Robinson off the court?
No.
So, like you know what I mean? So, like, there's almost too much on there. And then Boston with Evan Fournier, 2 second-round picks is great for him. But in Boston, you have Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, you have Kemba Walker, Marcus Smart. Where does Evan Fournier fit in there? Like, so that's what I mean. Like, value, it's there, but as far as it making sense or a fit, I don't think it like is pushing the needle for those teams. The Aaron Gordon trade to Denver, I think that's an interesting fit for Denver.
That's what I said.
Beside Jokic, that's a pretty good fit.
Yeah.
And we got George Hill. I know people were upset about
like a little mini big three in Denver now. Little mini big three. Mini.
Yeah. We just need Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon to take that next step.
Right.
I thought the George Hill trade was good value, and I thought that was good fit. So, when you put it like that, I thought the George Hill trade was really good. I know people were upset about Tony Bradley, but if Ty Johnson just said on the show I just came off of, Ty Johnson just said it, and it really clicked with me, is like, Joel Embiid's injured. You're not winning anyways. So what's it matter if you have Tony Bradley? It doesn't matter. So you don't need depth behind Joel. If he's injured, he's out. We're not winning anyways. So and
if once Joel come back, he won't see the floor anyway.
Exactly.
Except for on warm-ups and at halftime. So that's it. So it's actually zero. He won't see the floor at all unless we're blowing somebody out. We're blowing somebody here, we get on the floor. So I'm not worried about that. That's the least of our worries. This road trip actually now might be another story. I am a little worried. I was actually thinking about that. If any move we made, was it going to hurt us during the road trip? Now we got to play small, but I'm assuming they're going to fix that.
But check this out. But small for the Sixers ain't small for a regular team. Like,
that's true.
That's not really. I mean, small ball. Like small, I think is like the Houston Rockets were. Like that was small ball. Like this. This is an inverted small ball. You got Ben Simmons. He's about 6'10". He's actually your point guard. So that like already puts you above where most people are. So yes, you're big. You got a couple different other guys where you can do like you can kind of mix and match. Dwight Howard's definitely still serviceable. We don't really know for sure how Tobias we never really seen Tobias and them drop down one play like position. Like you remember like when Magic played point and he sometimes can play center. So it depends on how you use Ben. Ben might be able to play a 5, depending on how big that 5 actually is and how dominant they are. If it's a skinny 5, like a thin 5, he might be able to hold his own. So we just got to remember that as well. I just try to keep that in mind.
What do you think of the What do you think? Give me your observations of what the hell Houston and Orlando is doing, Scotty. Because I can't figure it out.
Houston's a clown show, man, and they're out there operating, with like these grudges. Like the fact, you look back at what they've done over this, just like this short, like 3 months, and you traded away Harden. What do you have left to show for it? What do you have left? You had James Harden, an MVP candidate, and you decided to let Ben Simmons on the table. That's going to come back to haunt them, man. You'll never get a player of that caliber on that team.
What about not taking LeVert over Oladipo. Like, I don't know.
Now you're with Kelly Olynyk.
Oladipo is, I think I heard, isn't he like 29, 20, 30, something like that? And then LeVert is 24. Like, what?
Yeah.
I don't understand what. I can't even begin to understand what is their thought process going there. And then you gave them all a Oladipo to Miami. You might as well just say, here, take them.
Yeah, they gave them to Miami.
Your favor.
That was crazy. And Toronto. I mean, I know y'all probably talked about this, but Masai Ujiri, what are you thinking, man? Take one of the deals.
I you know what? I didn't even talk about that, but I'm trying to figure out. Like I think he's gambling on a sign and trade.
Yeah,
in the season. But what if that doesn't happen? So now you don't let him walk for nothing? That doesn't make sense either. He's smarter than that, dude.
Yeah,
you gotta get something for Larry because it's not a guarantee that you're gonna get a sign and trade.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah.
What y'all think about that Chicago trade, Vucevic up there with Levine? I actually kind of like that, but
I would like to know what Orlando is doing.
Yeah, I feel you. But like, I'm just happy to see Levine like kind of get another all-star with him. Now we can really see how good Levine is. You know what I mean? There's not
more pieces. Couple more pieces. They're going to be all right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking too.
Well, hold on. First of all, they got to sign Levine because the stupid idiots didn't sign him all this time. So you brought in Vucevic, but you wouldn't re-sign him to a big deal and lock him up.
He's getting a max contract. He's getting a max contract.
Yeah,
now.
But why didn't you already give him that? I
gave him the contract this past offseason. That way you avoid him having an all-star caliber year and raising his price.
Let me ask you a question. What if he just said, you know what the hell with y'all, I'm out?
He might. I mean, why would
you know what you say at that point? Come to Philly.
Yeah,
you don't want people dancing in the videos. You know, if you don't want that, come on with Bad Boy. That's what we gonna do.
I know I'm not the expert. I'm not Brian Windhurst or none of them guys, but dude, I can't understand a lot of the stuff that happened in the last. I just say last month. I don't know what people are doing.
People are scrambling, man. They're scrambling.
I can't even tell you what's Miami really. Your thing is like kick and shoot. Well, Oladipo isn't like a shooter. So and then the slasher is Jimmy. So where's he going to really fit in that mix unless you tell him to come off the bench? He ain't trying to hear him coming off the bench.
To me, Victor Oladipo is like a lesser version of Jimmy Butler. Like he's like the off-brand version. Yeah. So like, what is the fit there? I don't get it. You know, you're gonna by having Oladipo on the floor, you're taking away your biggest strength, especially against the Sixers, for instance. 3-point shooting. You need 3-point shooters surrounding Jimmy and Bam.
Right.
You taking Tyler Hero or Duncan Robinson off the court or Goran Dragic, whichever one you prefer. But you're taking shooters off the floor. It doesn't make sense.
What about Rajon Rondo? Because we hadn't talked about him yet. Like
beautiful move.
Move. They need a leader in their life.
Yes, that's what they needed. Now they're a problem. Because Rondo is going to run that team. He's going to get people in positions. No, you get out the post. I want Kawhi right there. Or I want you to run this play. No, go back door. Oh, my God. They're going to be a problem. They're going to be a problem.
I think that's interesting, and I think it really says something about Kawhi Leonard as well, as a leader. Because, I know he won that championship with Toronto, but Kyle Lowry was the leader there. He's the one that gathered the troops at the end of the day. So I thought that said a lot about, the Clippers felt they needed to go out and get a leader. Like Rondo hasn't even played for Atlanta in reality. So, I mean, at least he'll be fresh. But, I thought it was a good move. Lou Will isn't who he used to be. He might even get bought out for all we know. So I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. Eligible, but it would make sense because I don't think what's Atlanta need Lou Will for? They got plenty of shooters over there. So
Yeah, and this is his last year of his deal too, right?
Yeah, I think so.
This is last year, so that might be an easy buyout for them, and let the whoever's been playing already, let them just ride with it. Because if you bring a win, now you got to take somebody's time.
Exactly.
So yeah, it might be a good idea. I would
young
take
guys
Lou
to
Will.
play. You know what I mean?
I would take Lou Will in a half a second.
Right? Send him over. So what about DeMarcus Cousins? What y'all think about him, man? Everybody's talking about him now that Tony Bradley's gone. DeMarcus Cousins.
For the right mindset, yes.
Nah.
But
I think
Doc talked to him.
Right.
Doc knows what his mindset is. He's all right with what he's going to do in certain situations. Maybe you don't put Scott in there as your power forward. You let him play a little power forward. Maybe you do a little combination. Maybe against certain teams you do him instead of Dwight for a little down low presence and get some some little strength down there. I mean, he's got to be in the right mindset. If he's not and he wants to play big minutes and he's going to complain and I want to play more and I have no interest. We ain't got time for that.
We're talking about right?
Yeah, for the right mindset, I would take a shot on him. But Doc obviously would have to have that conversation with him.
Boogie not worth his weight in peanuts. He not, Boogie is a washed up version of himself that don't even deserve to be out. And I'm gonna say that to say this, it's not worth a buyout for him. It's not even worth it's not worth it because you mess up the chemistry. We don't need to do nothing else.
No, he's already cut.
No, I'm saying we don't need to do nothing else with the chemistry. I'm not bringing him on my squad. Okay. You still got to pay him something. You can't be.
Yeah, but you give him a veteran minimum. You give him a veteran minimum. If he wanted, he wanted. If he don't, he don't.
Man, I wouldn't pay that dude in now and laters. Like, I'm just telling you. Like, I'm not.
All right, let me ask you this. We need another big guy, and just use a. I don't want to. I didn't even. Maybe I shouldn't even say it, but just say if somebody that's the MVP doesn't come right back. And you need another big guy for maybe another 2 weeks, would you take him for that?
I'll stick with Dwight, brother. You
still need somebody. You need one more big body at least.
What's up with the Joe kid? Isn't he a big guy?
Who?
Paul Reed. Paul Reed.
He's 6'9". He's 6'9".
Okay, listen.
They can play some small ball, but he's just too young. I don't think they're going to throw him out there.
I don't know if they trust him enough. And just that's the whole point.
Regular season, maybe.
That's why we went to go get Hill because you can't trust Maxey.
Right.
Listen, I'm cool with what you guys are saying, but what I'm saying is you can have the possibility to slide these guys you already got. Like with being so big, you can kind of slide him anywhere. Like. He's kind of plug and play. He's like that mouse you get from the store. He just got that little USB port. You don't have to put no driver on it. You just plug and play him. Like you just put Ben in and let him spin. He's like Boobie Miles. Just let him do it. Like I want to see his capability. I want them to turn Ben loose. Like finally turn him loose. It's like he's the Matrix. They just open up. Just let him have the pill. Let him open up and just see what he can do. Because I feel like not that they've been holding them back, but I feel like at some point during the season. I think Doc is going to unleash Ben Simmons. I think he's just going to let him loose. He's like that pit bull that you've had for like 4 years. You've been training him on the low.
That Utah game wasn't letting him loose?
Well, that was, but that only happened once. Like, I want him to be like the pit bull in the yard that every time the damn postman come, he light his ass up. That's what I want. Like, I want him.
I would definitely like a little bit more dog in Ben. I would 100% like a little bit more dog.
For me, though, with DeMarcus Cousins, don't get me wrong. There's two things about DeMarcus Cousins. It's like, one, I don't think he's going to take like a third string center role. You know what I mean? Like behind Dwight Howard, too, because I don't think he should get Dwight Howard's minutes. Matchup wise, maybe, if you have better matchups. But I also think like once you get to the playoffs, Joel's going to increase his minutes. Dwight's going to barely even get any play in the playoffs, if things are going right. So I don't know. Dwight or DeMarcus Cousins, I just brought it up because it's been mentioned a lot. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure, how that would fit. I will say I was on like the press conference with Daryl Morey, like right before I got on here. And
where was that at? I was trying to find it.
It was on the Painted Lines. I was over on their network.
I was looking at it on the Sixers website. I couldn't find it on theirs. I was trying to say, I know I hear him because I keep seeing people tweeting his quotes. So I know he's talking, but I couldn't find where he was talking. So what did he say?
So basically, somebody asked him, I believe it was Jason Blevins. He asked him, what are you basically looking for in the buyout market? And, he gave him like kind of a subtle shift to see if he would even, if Doc would even consider playing Paul Reed, down the stretch this year. And Daryl Morey totally shut that down. He mentioned in the buyout market, he will go after a big. So, yeah, I don't think he totally shut down Paul Reed getting,
I figured that. Because it tells you everything you need to know. And like I said on our show, I was telling JD that I said like 4 weeks ago, I seen it in Doc's eyes that he doesn't trust Maxey. Yeah. So I knew we had to get a veteran point guard for the playoffs. Yeah. So if you're going to do that, then I hear people talking about, I'm tired of Scott, get Scott out of here. All right. Scott if you don't play Scott, then you're going to have to play Paul. But if you play Paul, then it's defeating your purpose of getting Hill. You need veterans. You can't have him nervous, causing turnovers, wrong assignments on defense, leaving people wide open. You can't have none of that in the playoffs. So it defeats the whole purpose of keeping a veteran. So I know Scott has had a horrific season, but he is playing good defense. I see him playing up in your face defense, physical defense. I forget who we played the other night, and he was right up on him.
Julius He was guarding Julius Randle pretty well.
Right. He was right up on Randle, giving him everything he wanted him, making him have a little bit more difficulty in the post and stuff like that. So you might use him for a little bit, and he is what he is. I mean, but he's a veteran. He knows where he's supposed to be at. He's going to be physical out there. He's going to give people a hard foul. So those things is what you need in the playoffs. And that it is what it is at this point. And who we can get in that buyout, it's who we can get. I don't know.
I feel you. Everybody was up in arms today. And, it's kind of what we talked about before. Philadelphia – the fans, it's like the national media picks on us too. You know what I mean? They use us as pawns. And, Philadelphia fan base, we feed right into it. We get all riled up. We put everything all over Twitter. And what's that do? That drives up prices for other teams. And you've seen it with the Eagles too. Eagles are connected to everyone. And they never get anyone. They get Avery, Jannard Avery, for a third-round pick when everybody's building up the hype around the trade deadline. It's just, we set ourselves up for disappointments, man, because, when I look back at things with Kyle Lowry, it's as simple as I broke it down. I've had a lot of time to think about this today. Like,
let me get your opinion on that too. I want you to tell me, because I had no interest in putting Thibault in that trade. Tell me what you think about that.
No, there was a moment where I was like, send it. I just wanted Kyle Lowry, and I brought myself back down. Regathered, and the way I look at it is that if Kyle Lowry really wanted to come home to Philadelphia, he could have forced the Raptors into doing that. Sure. You know what I mean? They were giving him leverage in this. They were letting him discuss his agent discuss the trade talks. So if he really wanted to come to Philly, he could have pushed that and made that happen, and he did not. Everything was focused around Miami at one point. And as soon as I started thinking about this Miami shit, you want to go sit by the beach and be with Jimmy Butler, I don't need that shit on my team. Like, if you don't want to be here, then I don't want it either. You know what I mean? So yeah, when I broke it down and I looked at, because Danny Green was probably going to be in that for money reasons, or Mike Scott, whatever.
Both.
Danny Green, Thibault, and now you add Hill in, and it's like you would rather have Lowry than that. 3 rotational players. I don't get that. So, and then you throw in Maxey and 2 first-round. That's ridiculous.
Right. I think this is too much.
Come back down to earth, man.
Yeah, and I would have did it if they just say they would have been all right with if they would have been all right with Maxey, 2 picks, and
Green.
and Green, I'm good. Let's do it.
Yeah, I would have done
But
that.
when you start talking about Thibault, I'm out. And I think, Corey, thank you very much. He will never come out in public and say it, but and everybody was saying, Will Hurst was saying it, Woj was saying, everybody's saying they had a point that they were stopping at, and they wasn't going any further than that. And that had to be, they weren't going to put Thibault in the deal. And thank goodness, you need Thibault to win against Brooklyn. Taking Thibault out of that equation, and now Danny Green, because now that's two defensive players. That's not helping you win the chip. That's weakening you to win the chip, in my opinion. Because I think you're not gonna. I don't think you're gonna outscore Brooklyn. I think you need to slow them down, and that's with defense. Again, wow! Imagine that, winning a championship with defense. You're going to need to win to slow them down. So that's your only shot. That's your only shot. You can't think that you're going to score 140 to beat them. That's Golden State didn't even do that.
Man, JD's up there smiling, yo, because I know he's been preaching.
Golden State didn't do that. Golden State didn't score 140 and say that's the way I'm going to beat you. They had Clay and they had Green, and that's what they was going to do. They was going to slow you down and then outscore you. Well, Brooklyn can't do to slow you down. They're just going to try to outscore you. So that's how you win. I don't know why I'm like beating my head against the wall to some people on Twitter and Facebook. You're not going to win a Super Bowl. Super Bowl. You're not going to win an NBA championship with trying to outscore him. And perfect thing, I thought about that on the drive home tonight. Didn't Tampa Bay win with defense? The greatest offensive weapon of all time, almost, Patty Mahomes. You can't stop him. They won with defense.
Yeah.
I've been waiting to use this. I've been waiting to use this for weeks, and I finally got it ready. I'm about to use it as soon as it loads, and I'm excited to use this because when I told everybody this, I said, "Stop tripping."
Did you tape yourself? Did you tape yourself?
No, I got something else for you guys. I've been waiting to use that.
I was waiting for an old recording from like 2 months ago when he was saying all this stuff. I going to use a recording.
Oh, I got one. I got one for half court heat though. I'm gonna use it on half court heat. I'm gonna use it on that. I want to say my good stuff for Tony. Like all my good stuff for Tony. But listen, man, I've been saying this. We need to work on the continuity of the team, and I think it's finally come to fruition. We've watched them in the last few weeks. We've watched them not only win tight games with the bench players, but we've watched them do it in a way that not only makes you excited because it's like, okay, that's what the playoff games are like. Playoff games are constricted like this. Like it's like nitty gritty. It's like we just got to get a bucket. Who gonna give us the bucket? And it's one of the guys that you never expect to get the bucket, or Tobias just straight take over, or being assert his dominance at some point, and we just win. So I've been really excited about this because I really want to be telling everybody I told you so. And I can't wait till we get this chip because when we do, I'm getting the JD Oracle tatted on me. I don't even care.
Yeah, man. And that's like the evolution, would we have felt that way about Thibault, maybe 2-3 weeks ago before the All-Star break? This man's hitting the 3-point shot now. So that makes him a whole different weapon. And that at that point, when he's hitting that shot, he's too valuable to trade. But yeah, I think, with the Sixers, it's like we just always got to nitpick, as Philly fans. Let them be good at what they're good at. They're great defensively. That's the identity of the team. Yeah, you got Joel Embiid, who's this MVP, caliber player that on offense and defense. But this is a defensive identity. You've seen Tobias Harris buy in. Everybody in this locker room has bought into defense. And that's ultimately what's going to win us the championship if we win the championship. It's defense. So you can't take away from that at this point. You're the second-ranked defensive team in the league. And we're 13th offensively, and this is what we're all missing a lot of time as well. Right. So it's not like we're some otherworldly offensive team.
Yeah.
Like we're right there.
I was looking at that the other day, and I was like, "Damn, we're 13th in the league in offense. We're not like shabby. we're not like 29th. We're 13th in offense."
Right.
And by the way, that team behind you with that Laker jersey, they won the chip last year with defense. They didn't win because, of course, they had AD and LeBron. I get it, but they had a defensive mindset to shut people down to win, and that's how they won.
Yeah. Hey, man, I'm going to get us up off here, but before we go, man, I got to mention something for all the people who've been following Heat Ratio, man. We got to throw these up here. Man, the bobbleheads, man. The bobbleheads are a big push right now for the squad. We really want you guys to get out there and see they got some really cool bobbleheads. You'll be seeing links of it in our posts and our bios. For most of us, you'll see promotions going on with Heat Ratio. Please, guys, please do not sleep on these bobbleheads. Do not sleep on the giveaways. The Sister Jean one is actually kind of fire, especially what was going on.
That was fire, bro.
Like, I'm gonna throw it up there one more time. Y'all got it.
That shit is fire. I'm telling you,
like,
Sister Jean.
The thing has so much detail in it, and it's like it's so much detail. Like guys, the guys at Bobbleheads Museum, like these guys are amazing. Like, I want them to make me a bobblehead. I put up a post the other day, and I use like the thing. I'm gonna be a bobblehead before this is all said and done.
Straight up. That's Sister Jean, man. I told my girl. I have no ties to Chicago, Loyola. I don't got no ties, and I'm about to buy the Sister Jean just for my collection. Like,
throw it in here.
Fire, like the wheelchair and everything.
Yeah,
like,
got the wheelchair in there, little finger up in the air.
Bro, check out the shoes, though.
That is fire.
Yeah. Like, listen,
little sweats on, got the scarf.
Exactly, like
Letterman's jacket.
And like the Hogwarts scarf on. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Listen, guys, it's been fun kicking it with you guys, man. If you guys don't have anything else to do, man, make sure you guys watch all of the Heat Ratio shows. Subscribe to all of them. Like them. Comment. We normally interact. And on top of that, it's a good time to just catch up on sports. We got so many different shows. So give attention. Pay attention to the shows. We'll be around. Tomorrow will be my show. And we also have our crossover with me and Scotty coming on, dropping Saturday morning. It's going to be really dope. And I can't wait for Half Court Heat on Sunday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, man, I'm excited. I'm going to jump in just to throw my crystal ball in there, and I'm jumping right out.
Looking forward to the show this week and see where we're at on this road trip. By Sunday, I can be a real happy man. Let's see if me and Andre's prediction came true with the record that we started out that we thought we were going to have by the end of the road trip. So
with 3-1, right?
3-1. We predicted. Me and Andre predicted 3-1 that we would be before the road trip.
Just one loss.
The one loss I really didn't predict who it was going to be because it was in between Denver and the Clippers. So I figured we would win one of those. So I didn't know who it was going to be. Now I'm probably thinking Rondo will play in that Clipper game, and then Gordon now is going to play in the Denver game. So now it's now a little. They got a little bit more firepower on Denver. The Clippers, I don't know if they're going to be all together yet, but now I think we got a better chance against the Clippers than we got against Denver.
I think we could steal one from the Clippers. I think Denver with Jokic and Embiid's not there. I think that's a tough one.
And then Howard is the only one that can even. Howard's the only one that can even slow him down. And then we got and then if he gets in any type of foul trouble, we got a problem.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's a back-to-back with the Cleveland game. So if it gets too out of hand, they could even throw it. That could be like a smart loss. You know what I mean? To just kind of pack it up and get the W in Cleveland if they can.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah.
Which actually, that was a bad way to end the road trip. I don't know.
Yeah,
how you gonna give us a back-to-back on the last 2 days? Like,
they hate whatever. But hey, Monday as well on Scotty Talks NBA, we do got Kai Carlin coming on, so that'll be fun as well.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him. Yeah, guys, go check that one out. Scotty's making big moves over there.
I know. Scotty's on fire right now.
Hey, we riding, man. That's heat ratio sports. We on fire right now. We bringing in the best. So I gotta bring my part in. I gotta build too. I gotta build up too. So I gotta get a part of it. I'm with y'all.
Yo, you got the Philadelphia merch on right now? Is that the Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that joint.
Oh, yeah. What's that on the back?
It's a dirt bike, bro.
Oh, okay.
It's the Philadelphia. It's like the city edition, right?
Yeah.
Coming out with the merch. Sheesh, killing me.
That shit's fire, man.
We
do have everybody stay tuned. It's not just our normal shows. We got a lot of special guests coming up in the next couple of weeks. I mean, we got football guys coming on, basketball guys, Sixers people, NBA people, retired football players, retired basketball players. I mean, we got the lineup coming at you in the next couple of weeks. So everybody stay tuned, and all the shows is going to be hot and on fire in the next couple of weeks and months ahead.
All right, y'all. So make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, tap the bell so you know when we going live. All that good stuff. Until next time, y'all. Deuces.